Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids across our beloved empire. Say it with me. It's great to be in the empire today. I hope you had an amazing weekend. You're supercharged, you're well rested, you're Java juiced out of your mind. Because dang, it's gonna get very busy here in Galaxy, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss all the fun Legends content that is coming to Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And speaking of Legends, obviously you guys know Starkiller's coming to Galaxy Heroes, and this past weekend, Crumb was on about 3 or 4 different channels doing interviews, hanging out with them, and spilling a lot of the details in regards to the Starkiller event. We got a glimpse in terms of the difficulty, the cadence release for the marquee characters, some further clarification on what the theme is for the next marquee characters coming to Galaxy Heroes. And I think the most important thing is we kind of got a slight idea of what the gear requirements are looking like. And I'm getting a little worried that this might not be a 5-star unlock event. So let's go ahead and get this party started because, man, oh man, a lot of stuff happening here. So the other day, we actually made a video kind of sharing our predictions on what we think is going to be the next batch of requirements for Starkiller. As we know so far, Dash Rendar is the main guy. That's the first one coming, but there's 3 more coming. There's been a lot of speculation. Crumb said in an interview with the Escape Podcast, I believe he was on the Escape Podcast, Heinze, Cubs fan Han this past week, so that's where all this intel's coming from. But he said that he hasn't seen anyone so far nail the next 3 marquee requirements so far. Now, as we said in my video, I think we're kind of celebrating Star Wars video games, and they clarified in their interview that yes, some of them are from Star Wars games, but they're mostly focusing on Legends, expanded universe things, and not necessarily just from video games. This tells me one of a few things. Firstly, I think that really solidifies Kyle Katarn coming to Star Wars Galaxy Series. He's a Legends character, not canon. If you guys don't know, it's always kind of weird because in Marvel, they have a multiverse, right? In Star Wars, they don't quite have an official multiverse, but you have your canon, the things that actually officially happen. And you have your Legends, which is kind of like whispers, rumors, made up stories, and all that fun stuff. It seems like they're focusing more on the Legends. So in my video, we said we might be celebrating some of Star Wars' greatest video games, which is true, but not true. So that makes me think, based off this comment, we're probably not going to see Iden Versio and Cal Kestis, unfortunate, but I'm putting a lot more weight on Kyle Katarn, and heck, that might mean Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker's wife, might be a very well possibility here in the near future. And this is going to kind of spill into my thoughts on how this event for Starkiller is actually going to operate. But speaking of the operation, why don't we talk about how the event is going to operate in terms of its release schedule, and more importantly, the requirements in terms of the gear, the difficulty for this event. First thing to know, which is nice, it's a permanent event. They haven't really been doing, except the Executor, I suppose, and all the other capital ships that are really on more of a monthly, once a month basis to farm shards for. They've been really kind of staying away from legendaries, Galactic Legends, from being something that only pops up once every month or so. And I'm kind of a fan of that. I like that it's just there, so whenever you're ready for it, you go for it. There's not this immediate rush or immediate demand to go for it. So it's gonna be a permanent event available inside of the journey guide. And the question came up this weekend, is this going to be like a legendary event difficulty? And he said it's going to be a little bit more difficult than a legendary event. So when I'm thinking of legendaries, I'm thinking of Chewbacca. That's kind of the main one that's kind of reminiscent of one of the harder legendary events. I'm thinking of C-3PO. Those are kind of the 2 legendary events. They're really up. They're epic confrontations, journey events. They're kind of in their own category. So I think we could probably expect something as difficult as Chewbacca, C-3PO, but a little bit more is what they're trying to get across. And I think this is the part that concerns me the most, my hope. Because they did say it's similar to a legendary event, except that it's going to be harder. I'm hoping when they say similar to a legendary event, they're talking about that this might be a 5-star unlock. We are way overdue for a 5-star unlock, and it's unfortunate no one kind of brought up that question to my knowledge and then followed up and say, hey, is this going to be a 5-star unlock? Because I think that's a burning question, because people want to be able to play with Starkiller now. Here's the thing, it's cool that he's coming to the game, but realistically, if you're not spending money, you're probably not looking at this character easily until maybe mid-2022 or something like that. The characters come out, it takes about 3 months to come out, then it takes about 3 months to farm them on the single drop rate. So you're looking at about 6 months or so in advance here. However, they did say in regards to that marquee cadence is that it's going to be a bit more mixed. So what I'm thinking is it's probably maybe because again, we have to technically wait for Dash Rendar. So we're waiting on 4 marquee characters, and we have exactly a month to the day right now because the event is December 15th. So what I'm thinking they mean by a mixed release cadence is they're probably referring to the fact that maybe some of these characters might become on the expedited cadence. As you remember when Queel came out, and IGM, they kind of sped up the process in regards to when they become free-to-play available. They did this on a few other occasions too, to kind of make things a bit faster, to farm exclusive characters that are needed for a legendary or galactic legend sometime in the past. So my hope is that's what they're referring to. It also might mean maybe we'll get 2 marquees in a week, but I have a feeling when they talk about Cadence, they usually talk about the release scheduling for a marquee, because right now when a character comes out, marquee character that is, usually it's about 3 months until they become free-to-play accessible. So I think that's kind of the most important thing. If you're someone that's going to get Starkiller free-to-play, and in this situation, it might not be a 5-star unlock, I'm hoping it's going to be something a bit more rushed for people to get access to, because we have less than a month to get all these characters for Starkiller if you want to get them day 1, and then you got to gear them up. And speaking of the gear, since it's going to be difficult, it sounds like this event's probably going to require Gear 13, relics, probably some really solid mods. Again, it's going to be harder than a legendary event that we've experienced so far. And this is why I'm a bit concerned that it's not going to be a 5-star unlock, because unless you're General Hux, the only character to go to Gear 13 under 7 stars, if they're requiring Gear 13s, that means it's going to be a 7-star unlock, and I'm going to be very bummed. Again, I'm a huge advocate for 5-star unlocks, and the last time we had a 5-star unlock was Padme Amidala. Beskar Mando was a 7-star unlock, if you guys recall. I saw some people, when I mentioned that last, people were like, oh, Beskar Mando was, no. He requires 330 shards to unlock. That's 7 stars. 2019 was the last time we had a 5-star unlock. Now, unless they completely threw out the door 5-star unlocks, I think it's time that we get another one. And I'm hoping Starkiller is that one, because they need a layup. And based off the difficulty and these gear and relics that are being thrown out there, sounds like this is going to be a bit difficult to achieve. But they did say sometime today on Monday or Tuesday, November 16th, we're going to get more intel on this event and maybe some of the new characters that are coming along for Starkiller. So stay tuned so we can get more intel down the road in regards. And I feel like the only other thing that's really kind of worthy of bringing up that was mentioned this weekend was the fact that they're kind of releasing characters to support a variety of factions. Like Dash Rendar is going to be helping out the Smuggler crew. My prediction, my video this past week, is maybe they're going to release Kyle Katarn to help out the Rebel Fighters. Rebel Fighters are, they're a C-grade team in the game, maybe B team at best. Yeah, Kyle Katarn, as we talk, he had a pretty extensive resume. Imperial Trooper turned Mercenary, turned Rebel Fighter, turned Jedi. They can maybe add him into the Rebel Fighter crew to make Mon Mothma teams even better, than add one of those Namicrons to kind of make them useful in specific types of game modes out there. So I really like this idea that maybe you don't need to farm all these marquee characters to put a team together. You can maybe just, Jedi Knight Revan. You need to farm all the older public to put a Jedi Knight Revan team together for the most part. I kind of like the idea of just releasing one character that might greatly benefit specific factions out there, like Rebel Fighters, like the Smugglers, that really need the extra boost in terms of their viability in specific game modes out there inside of Galaxies. However, this is the problem I'm after all these interviews this weekend. One of my big problems that I'm having is, how's this event going to look like? Because right now it sounds like they're just requiring 4 characters. And that's the extent of what I'm hoping here. Either are they going to require each tier just be you playing with one specific marquee character, or 2, are all these tiers going to be like all the characters put together to fight a battle? I mean, I just finished finally the What If series for Marvel, and if you watched it, I'm not going to spoil anything, but basically the narrator at some point has to kind of recruit people from different universes together to save the multiverse. I don't know if they're going to go that far in Galaxy of Heroes. Or the third idea that I had, and I'm hoping this is not the case, as we said, these characters that are being released, they're not really forming a team together per se, like normal legendary characters requirements usually build a team together. They're going to be meant to support a variety of factions, it sounds like. What I'm hoping is that, as we know, Dash Rendar is coming. I'm hoping that you don't need the prepared crew as a consequence of getting Starkiller, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of like a nested down requirement. It's like, yes, Dash Rendar is directly needed, but you might need Rebel Fighters up and right. So that is complete speculation on my part, and I hope that is not the case. I sincerely hope they're just going to require these 4 marquee characters, and that's it. And we're kind of a bit worried that this might not be a 5-star unlock. I'm a bit concerned about the difficulty as well as the gear requirements more specifically. But I gotta say, at the minimum, it is refreshing just to have 4 characters be needed for something. Yeah, it's a bit rushed of all these characters, but again, it's Galaxy Heroes. If you're expecting to get a brand new character 1000% free to play day 1, well, you're playing the wrong game. But nonetheless, look at the grand scope of Galaxy Heroes and getting shoved Galactic Legend and after Galactic Legend into our faces. It's a breath of fresh air to at least see only a 4 character requirement. And let's hope it's not Dash Rendar plus the Smuggler prepared crew. Let's hope it's not Kyle Katarn plus the Mon Mothma crew, some rebel fighters that might be needed. So I'm not going to go that far into my speculation. More intel is coming around the corner. You know what? I'm going to give you some inspiration. I know you guys are getting pumped. You guys are getting ready for what's coming to Star Wars Galaxies. I want to flex really quickly before we end this video. I want to flex just simply how dominant our empire is. While Crumb was doing all these interviews this weekend, I was training in the shadows, dominating every single video game in any realm out there. And that's why we're in the top of the Triple B game, baby. Watch me simply dominate Super Stars Mario Party. Hit it. Let's see. Show him. Show him. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Look at that. We don't screw around here, baby. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Gungan and Droid. So if you're hyped, make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribing because dang, it's going to be great in this empire today. And not just today. I'm talking yesterday and the day after. Next year from now, a century from now, we're still going to be standing strong. Yeah, I'm going to live another 100 years minimum, Gary. Don't get it twisted. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. What your updated marquee requirements are looking like now that they confirmed it's going to be legends, not just video game characters out there. How are you feeling about the difficulty and the rough idea of Gear 13 being needed? And do you have your fingers crossed for a 5-star? Like, I always love seeing your guys' comments, so thank you for taking the time to hang out with me today and chat. More intel to come soon. But one more time for the audience, for those in the back, it's great to be in the Empire today.